What's good, people? Welcome back to the show. Title Race Show is back. It's not me and Daps anymore, man. We have company. A big up Daps, by the way, because the last few weeks has been fun. But it's always better when you get more people on as
Yeah,
well, man, because
100% agree.
we can all debate with each other, and it's not just me and Daps. So big up Huey. Huey, how you doing, bruv?
I'm good, man. Thank you very much for having me on. It's always a pleasure to see Premsy and Daps, and it's good to see you too, Dan. So I'm looking forward to it.
Cheers, Huey, and our top man, and big up yourself, man. Premsy, I had to get somebody else, man. I couldn't be outnumbered, bruv. What are you telling me?
No, big up yourself. Thank you for having me on, man. Two great Man City representatives in the place as well. Because you already see Big Steve with a shark in the comment. You know what's going to happen to that shark? It's going to get hit on the nose, fam. You get me? But it's going to be
Does
interesting.
it make you nervous, Prems, man? Does that shark make you a bit nervous?
Nah, it's just a little thing me and Steve got going on, but I don't think so. Not at all. Don't get me wrong. 10 games to go. It is a little bit nerve wracking, but I believe in my boys, and I think we're going to do it.
Just quickly on Big Steve and the Shark, right? This weekend he's actually on the pitch at the ground. So, and then afterwards, potentially he's going to be eating some prawn sandwiches. So he must have a thing for it.
Man, prawn and avocado, innit? Prawn and avocado now. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what it must be. Listen, boys, this is. I'm not gonna lie to you, right? I've been fed up with this international. I cannot wait for it to finish. I've missed it. Now that there's 10 games to go, we ain't used to this, man. We ain't used to this at all. You guys are. So this is gonna be first thing for us. I haven't had a title race for a long time, so I'm looking forward to it. Injuries is a big thing at the moment. Saliba, Haaland. I'm hearing Thomas Partey's trained today. Premsy, let me come to you, man. How much of this can be significant moving forward? Because for me, if Arsenal keep their first 11 fit, I think we've got a great chance at the title. Before you answer that, can anyone else hear an echo, or is that me?
Yeah, I was about to say that as well. It's getting
Hugh,
on
I
my
reckon that might be you because I just tried muting mine.
This is me. I'll lower down on
Is
my
it? Who is
my
it?
speaker.
It's gone. It's gone. Is it gone? No, it is back. Prems, is it you?
No, it's not me.
Oh, I don't know.
It
Big
must
echo.
be Daps. He's watching the telly in the background, ain't he? Sort it out, Daps.
I think it might have
Not
gone
me
now.
because I tried muting. I was the first to mute to test it.
Yeah, I think it might have gone. I think we're good. Yeah, we are good. For me, Prems, I'm looking at this Arsenal side right now, thinking I can't have any more injuries to this side because for me, there's some key players in this Arsenal setup. Saka's one of them. Saliba's another. Partey's another. We've already had Jesus out for long. They're talking that Saliba might be out for a while. And Thomas Partey trained today. Does that give any kind of like worry to you, mate? Moving forward, because Saliba's massively key for me, Prems.
You know what? It's going to definitely be a worry if our key players are out for the final running of the season. But at the same time, we thought like that when Jesus was out and the boys stepped up and delivered. So I don't think we can be too hesitant in the fact that these players are out, start to drop your focus and start to doubt. You got to really believe and carry on pushing on forward. And I think, look, like you said before, Man City, they have the know-how to get over the line. But in order for you to win your title, you got to do it one time. And I think truly Arsenal now have the belief, they have the courage. You can see it running through the team. You got the likes of Saka, who's just absolutely unbelievable this season, seeing what he done for England. I think we can get over the line. I think the injuries, we can't focus on them too much because the moment we start dwelling on it, then it's going to start obviously playing on our mind and then it can start unsettling the crowd. We've seen how the Emirates has been. We've seen how the away fans are this season. Even if we're a goal down or 2 goals down, they keep pushing, keep driving. Where if we start to have that little bit of doubt regarding players on the pitch, it might affect the morale of the fans as well, which is we're going to need it 100% to get over the line. So it is a bit worrying, but at the same time, we don't really know what's going on with these injuries. It's nothing's come out concrete. It could be a bit of mind games. Saliba might just miss Leeds and then come back for the next games and so on. I've already heard the Thomas Partey injury isn't so significant. As we know, we sent out a physio with him, team doctor, to his international duty over there to look after him, which to be fair is quite smart. You know, you don't really normally see Arsenal pulling moves like that, but when shit's getting real, and you got a chance to win the league, you try to do everything you can. And maybe he's took him out as a little precaution. He's gone out in the news.
Pep taught him well. All these little tricks. It's true. We do that. But do you know what? On this Saliba thing, I hadn't heard about this, right? But I was talking about Holding with someone the other day. And I think it was a gal. And a gal, when I was saying to a gal, I don't get why some of your fan base thought you were going to drop points against Palace. And he said it's because Holding was starting and we've got a bit of doubts around Holding. I said, but your doubts based on Holding are last season, right? Last season, you were a different team. Yeah. So is it not fair to say that now you're a different team, that Holding might come in and play the system perfectly fine? To be fair, when you played us with Holding, he wasn't bad. So I think maybe if you're missing him against Leeds, that might be Saliba. That might be precautionary because you want him fully fit for Liverpool the week after.
Do you know what it is though, Daps? I think it's the accumulation of a few players at the same time. The likes of Tomiyasu already being out, the talks of Partey going out, and the talks of Saliba. Then you start looking at it with a different perspective. I think obviously with the Tomiyasu issue, people are worrying because against Liverpool, we opted to play Tommy left back and it worked a treat in that game. And people are expecting us to go to Anfield and kind of do the same thing. But look, with Arteta, the one thing we've got to give him now is belief in it, because everything that he's doing this season is working a treat. Obviously, for me, I totally believe that he kind of sacrificed the cups this season. Because for me, if you are going to want to win them cups, you're going to put your strongest team out and then start resting players, where he kind of done the reverse. And his priority is the Premier League. We haven't won it in 19 years. I can totally understand that. And if we win the Premier League, it'll push us on to the next level of our development. And to be fair, ahead of development to what he's saying. So we just got to look at it now, focus on the players that we have got fit and just keep them up to scratch. Do you know what I mean? It's all a mad thing. I told you it was Daps and his banana out.
No, it's calm. It's calm. Now, listen, I'm the same as you, Premsy. I think that there's a squad there at Arsenal, but once that first 11 starts getting a little bit beat, I'm not so sure we've got the right amount of quality coming in, man. But Huey, let's come to you, man. International break, you've got your players back. What's the rumours on Haaland, man? Is he out for a while, or is it all mind games?
I've been assessing the Haaland situation every avenue I possibly could, because it's kind of hard to make one big judgment. You know, he goes off to the Norway squad.
Yeah,
everything seems okay. Then we're told he's coming home. Same the way you said about doctors going out with Partey to was it Ghana or whatever. We send doctors out to Norway to hang out with Haaland as well whenever he goes away there. So they brought him back. Then they said he's going to Marbella to hang out in his house there. So I'm saying it can't be that serious. If it's that serious, he'd be straight back to Manchester. He'd be scanned up. They'd be doing all sorts of tests. But it seemed to me initially like he's just gone for a holiday. He's gone for a chiller in Marbella. Then he didn't train. And then we got word that he trained today on his own. It's hard to make a judgment. But I think Pep has to make a hard decision on Saturday morning. I think if we really needed to play him, if it was like a Champions League final, Haaland would play. Haaland would start. But Pep has to make the decision based on the fixtures we have coming up. We've got Liverpool Saturday morning. My personal feeling is he'll start on the bench, and if needs be, bring him on, with 10, 15 minutes to go as a last-ditch attempt to get a goal, because he's obviously most likely to. But I think he'll start Alvarez. And then you got Southampton the week after, and you got Bayern the week after. So do you want to risk starting Haaland and damaging him for the rest of the season with Bayern on the horizon, that kind of thing against Liverpool? That's up for Pep to decide. But I'm kind of okay with it. The big one for me, a big miss for me, is Phil Foden, because he really found form. He's got his appendix taken out. He's going to be out for around a month, I would imagine. And I've been told that he can't fly for about a month.
You can't fly with the appendix. Yeah, you're fucked with that.
So he's probably ruled out from Munich. That's huge. He'd really found form. The last 10 games, it's the best we've looked consistently all season. I think you'll agree with me, Dap. So with that bearing in mind, the fact that we've played the best all season over the last 10 games, our creative players, our defenders, everybody looking great. I've no issue with Alvarez being the number 9. I've no issue with Alvarez. Everyone says Alvarez isn't capable of doing what Haaland does based off what we've seen earlier in the season. When Alvarez took the reins as number 9, the whole team wasn't as good as it is now. The whole team wasn't creating enough. The whole team wasn't finding him.
Yeah.
Yes, Alvarez won't score 5 goals with 5 chances the way Haaland will. But if you give Alvarez 5 chances, I'd back him to score 2 or 3. So it's up to our creative players, who I would expect to be the likes of Mahrez and Grealish on Saturday, to feed Alvarez. But the injuries, look, it's not ideal. And I want to link this to the point you spoke about a few minutes ago with Saliba and Tomiyasu. If you want to win a league campaign, you're going to have to deal with these adversities. I look at every single league we've won in recent years. We've never had a full complement of players in the run-in. Never. Last season, we had no Diaz, no Stones at times. Laporte steps up and drags us over the line. The Gundogan year.
Fernandinho playing centre-back, bro.
Man, the year De Bruyne was injured for a huge chunk of the middle of the season, Gundogan goes on to be our top scorer. You find heroes. People need to step up and show their leadership, and that's what Arsenal need right now. They need someone like Rob Holding to come and find form he's never had before. They need players to stand up and fill that void that's already gone now. So that's the way I look at it, man. Injuries are a huge part of this, and that's how you deal with them, and that's how your squad stands up.
I think the other thing with that is that I do think, let's take Jesus getting injured and the way Nketiah stepped in. With Arteta, that's what you've got. right? You've got a manager that knows how to keep players happy on the bench. That's how City have won. You can have a best 11, right? And everyone, you can go to a team and you can play multiple games and be guaranteed game time every single game and end up the season with no trophies. Or you could join the team, be part of a team and win trophies. And that's what Pep's done. And I think like Zinchenko, perfect example. Jesus, perfect example. Jesus will not expect to walk straight back in that team because he's used to it at City. He has to earn his place. And I think that's what Arteta will have done. The way Nketiah stepped up, he'd given him that new contract and just said, your time will come. And when your time comes, take it. And he did it. He's proven it. He's been a pivotal point, like, in your season. With Haaland, so he did train today, but by himself, Huey.
Yeah. There's a report came out about an hour ago saying he trained like a one-to-one session.
I knew he hadn't trained. That's interesting. That almost looks like that could be a let's just test your groin out. Like, don't go and train with the rest of them. Let's just see how. I think you're right. Lewis just said the same, maybe on the bench. The only thing I think about him being on the bench is that little boost to the Liverpool fans at 11:30.
I'm not too bothered about that. You know, I'm really not. Liverpool have played against Haaland before. They feel like they've pocketed Haaland before and they've done a great job on him before. Alvarez is a whole different prospect that they've never properly faced. He came on for 2 minutes at Anfield. He played that Charity Shield game. They've never fully faced him. He'll pick up similar positions to Haaland in the final third, but it's the way he drops deep, his energy and all that kind of thing.
That's the issue.
So it's a whole different problem.
That's the other benefit of him is the fact that he'll bring that part of the game that maybe Haaland doesn't. The dropping deep and the getting more involved. And without Foden, maybe we need that.
And the thing is, Daps, this will be the thing. Like, I mean, Huey's absolutely right. You've got to use your squad. I remember Delph was at left back for you for most of one season as well when you won the league. So for me, I'm looking at it and you're absolutely bang on. We'll now see what Man City are better against a side like Liverpool without Haaland, if it is the case and he doesn't play. Because a lot of this rumours about, actually Man City aren't actually that good with Haaland, he just scores all their goals, is absolute nonsense to me. But we'll see, won't we, without him, what Julian Alvarez can do. But I personally feel like Julian Alvarez will be in that mould. I think he's a quality player, by the way, and I think he'll be in that mould just fine. I don't think you can be, wow, we've not got Haaland, we're in serious trouble now. I really don't see Liverpool getting anything out of this game at the Etihad, if I'm honest. And I'm not saying that in a reverse psychology way. I just think Man City will be better on the day. I just think they will. But at the same time, what will that do? Like Huey said, what will that do to Liverpool? Will that big them up? Do you think that's? And they might think, right, they ain't got Haaland, they're in for the kill. Like, where do they go with this one?
As well, that maybe that's, if Liverpool decide, what, we're going to come out and go up against them, that could work in our favour as well. We got to remember that Alvarez's last game for City, he scored 2 goals in as well. He's been playing more than people speak on, and usually he gets his goals when Haaland comes off and he steps up and plays through the middle by himself. So I'm not concerned with Alvarez starting. The mentality thing, and I think I want the Liverpool fans to be quiet. Yeah, because I think an early goal for City at the Etihad, Liverpool's fans with how they're feeling at the moment, they'll just sink away, and that is important in these games, very important.
The thing is, though, as well, Liverpool have been inconsistent. They'll win a game, they'll lose a game, they'll win a game, and I think they come off. Is it their last game a loss? I think something like that. I'm sure the last game they lost or something. Yeah, I think it was. It was a loss. So if you got to think, if Haaland isn't going to be there, Foden's not going to be there. They're going to be up for it and they're going to want to have a say in this title race because Liverpool must be hurt over the last couple of years. He's have pipped them to the title, whether it be a point or whatnot. So in their eyes, they're going to probably be looking at this game and thinking, let's just go for it and try to take the 3 points off Man City. Likewise with Arsenal, we're going there to Anfield. We've got a horrendous record there. Although it's a different Arsenal team now and we're going to have to wait and see how we fare up. They've got a big say in this title race. But look, if Haaland ain't in your team, regardless of what, it's a big loss because
100% agreed,
if you ain't playing so well, you're going to be missing a guy who could just put the ball in the back of the net on the split second. So it is a loss, in my opinion. I think obviously most of your goals have come through Haaland, and I don't think it's too serious. I think he will play against Liverpool, especially if he's training out on his own today. The media love to make things bigger than what it actually is, isn't it? So if I was used to, I'd be expecting Haaland to be playing against Liverpool. It's too much of a big game for him to miss.
Sorry. I think
Go on,
he'll be
Hugh.
on the bench. I think he'll be on the bench. I think Alvarez will start based on what I said earlier on. You don't want to risk damaging him really badly and he can't play the rest of the season. He's had periods at Dortmund where they did this exact thing. They weren't sure if it was too serious. They played him. He fully fucks it and he's out for 6 months or he's out for 4 months, whatever it was at the time. He's had bad injury records at Dortmund. But the thing with Alvarez is it looks bad if we don't play him. For me, it's a really bad look if we don't play him. We've just given him a brand new contract in 2028. In those negotiations, we must have said to him, you are crucial to this team. You are a massive part of this team. And, you know, whether it's playing with Haaland or when he's not around, you're going to be number 9. That's your role. And he agreed to that. So if we don't start Alvarez this Saturday, if Haaland's not available, and go back to playing, say, a false 9, Alvarez will be thinking, what the hell am I doing? But the whole thing is, the thing is that we have enough players in this team. It's not Haaland FC. As much as I love Erling Haaland, we have Kevin De Bruyne, we have Ramadan Mahrez, we have Grealish has scored some big goals this season. I know he's not consistent with the GNA, but he scored against United, he scored against Arsenal, assists against Chelsea. He can turn up. Gundogan, big game player as well. So I believe this team can do it. And as mad as it sounds, this isn't a disrespect. I'm not looking at Arsenal right now, just at this moment. I know they're the big problem overall. I just want to see City get back from this international break and get back into the form we were before the international break. We were in great consistency, great run of form. I felt this international break could potentially disrupt us. So I'm really eager to see this City come back and make a statement, big performance. And then I'm going, right, let's look at catching them. So it's a big thing. There's a lot of side now.
We also have seen City be very inconsistent this season, and that's facts, innit? They haven't been as consistent as they have been from many seasons before. So if I was you, I would be worrying about Arsenal and looking at Arsenal, bruv. Tell you that much for free.
The same way you're not looking at us. Do you know what?
Bro, best believe we are looking at you. We got our view looking at about me.
You just concentrate on winning all your games. You win the league. You shouldn't be looking at us. But
it's hard not to, man. It's hard not to.
You're right about that Haaland thing. If you go back to 2018, 2019, we played Liverpool in January, right? And De Bruyne was coming back from an injury. And it was exactly the same as this. And I remember my mate, who's an Arsenal fan, saying, De Bruyne is starting this game. I said, he won't, because Pep will not allow, like, even the psychological side of things to start De Bruyne when he's just come back from fitness. That's basically telling Liverpool and the whole Man City team, we can't beat you without De Bruyne, right? Whereas actually, to put Haaland on the bench and go, no, it's good. He's fit, but we don't want to play him. Alvarez, there is a psychological thing in that as well. That's telling everyone and telling Liverpool there and then, we don't need the big man. Alvarez is going to do the job, and the momentum that takes. So I think, and we did beat Liverpool. We beat Liverpool that day. That was the day that Sane scored the goal. So yeah, interesting.
To be fair, you would have more than enough to beat Liverpool on your day in it when you deep it. If Bournemouth can beat Liverpool, I'm sure you kind of without Haaland or with Haaland
this season. We should.
But we've seen against United when the big games come up to certain times, for example, that 7-0 victory with Liverpool, something can catch their eye, something can give them that motivation. They haven't got a lot to play for this season as well. You know what I mean? The only thing they can play for is these big games against Hughes, against Man United, against Everton. So I don't know. I don't know whether it'd be too easy.
Liverpool they've got Man City, Chelsea, and Arsenal in the next 3. They lose all 3 of them. They're not even in the Europa League, let alone top 4. So they're going to have to do something about this, in my opinion. They have to try and turn up. But Huey, let me come to you on this one. This Liverpool game. What's your thoughts going into this one, bro?
I'm anxious. Like I said, I just want to get back from the international break. I felt there was potential for the international break to disrupt us. I'm anxious about the whole remainder of the season, but I've been there. I've done this. I know what this feels like, and it's sickening. Every single game from here on in, you know, whether you're going to or you're watching it at home, I go to most of them. You feel sick. You feel sick going up to the stadium and that kind of thing. So, look, it's going to be tough. Liverpool haven't beaten us in the Etihad since 2015. So they're going to come, and they haven't won a 12 kickoff game this season. There's so many narratives going into it, but I just want the boys to come out and put on a performance, pick up from where they left off, and we take it from there.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi is bad. Apologies, guys. I don't know if I'm frozen, but I'm saying I've lost my Wi-Fi. Prems, how do you see this one going between Man City and Liverpool, mate?
Do you know what? I think everyone's probably expecting a Manchester City win, especially being at home. Like Huey said, they haven't beaten since 2015. But like I just touched on earlier, they haven't got a lot to play for, Liverpool. They've only got these big games to kind of show who they are, especially with the season coming to a close, and they want to get players in like Bellingham and so on. They have to be looking at these kind of results to show in the following season they can still compete with the likes of Arsenal and Man City and even Man United as well. And look, Manchester, Liverpool, they have their own rivalry. Although it's not being Man United, they're still going to want to give everything they've got in order to walk away with the 3 points. For us, even a draw would be a good result. So I'll be honest, obviously, I want Liverpool to win that game. But if they can get a point out of it, happy days for us, because I am looking at Man City. They're over our shoulder. They win that game in hand they've got. They're only 5 points, which leaves it. We can't really slip up more than
with
one.
the game in hand as well, yeah.
This is what I'm saying. If they win that game in hand, then the 5 points, aren't they? So it's one of them, innit? I just don't think it's going to be as plain sailing. I think if Haaland's out for the full 90 minutes, it's going to be a bit more difficult for City as well, because you know what Haaland is a goal machine. Opportunity comes to him, he's putting it in the back of the net. I think Alvarez is a quality player, has won the World Cup. He can score, but he's just not as efficient as Erling Haaland just yet. And opportunities might come to him. He could potentially miss it. But then again, you don't know what Liverpool's going to turn up on the day, and it could be the same Liverpool that get pumped in by Bournemouth, or it could be the Liverpool that beat United 7-0. So it's going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah, it's a hard one, man, to understand what Liverpool's side is going to turn up like whole of this season. So sorry, Prem's gone.
And these two have been throwing blows pretty much for the last 5-6 seasons, head to head. So I think everyone's going to stop to watch it, because sometimes I know form, when people say form goes out the window, obviously it's a bit of hit and miss, that saying. But I think on this occasion, I think form will go out the window, and it's who wants it more.
Yeah. I think it's going to be interesting. It's the first game back after the international break as well. The fact that it does impact the title race. It also impacts the top 4 race as well. Look, if Liverpool beat Man City at the Etihad, because they haven't won there since 2017 in the league, right? If they beat Man City at the Etihad, then I'm telling you now, Newcastle, Tottenham, Brighton are all thinking, fucking hell, they're doing what they did a couple of years ago, where they're going to come good all of a sudden, right? They're the one team that we'll say about City. The reason why we think, because Arsenal have been better than Man City this season, but the reason why we think that Man City is still going to do this league is because when the pressure is on, it makes diamonds. And if you look at City, that's what we need. We need the pressure to get the best out of us, right? Same with Liverpool, that they are that one team that a couple of years ago, they were in, they were 5th or 6th with, probably about the same amount of games left. They ended up 3rd. So they're that one team that everyone that's going for top 4, even though Liverpool might be where they are, they're all looking over their shoulders thinking, we do not need Liverpool to find form. So everyone's watching this. I just think at the moment it's the fact that firstly at the Etihad we usually get the better of them. Secondly, we are better than Liverpool this season, and thirdly, we must win this. This is a must-win game. These next 2 weeks, the title will not be decided in the next 2 weeks. But if we lose against Liverpool and you beat Liverpool, it then becomes a very uphill struggle for Man City. Whereas if we beat Liverpool and the next week you lose to Liverpool, knowing we've got a game in hand and knowing you've got to go to the Etihad, all of a sudden the momentum kind of swings. So these next 2 weeks, and I'm kind of happy we're getting them out of the way before we get into that real Champions League thing, because these 2 weeks are huge, man. And when do you have Newcastle?
About 6 games time, 7 games time.
That's a while away. But
yeah, it's a
tough
while
game,
away.
That though away, man.
That is a tough game away.
It is. But Southampton away for us next week. Southampton away, and people look at Southampton, but it's an away game.
Fighting for their lives as well.
And knowing that we have to win that because you play on the Sunday. So this is the way the title race gets. It's one of us will play on the Saturday, one of us will play on the Sunday, and now it's kind of like none of us want to lose now.
It's mad. It's absolutely mad. And, moving on to Arsenal, we're going to come back to City in a minute. Moving on to Arsenal Prems, we've got Leeds. Leeds have got some big players out, man. Nonto's out.
Yeah.
Voba's gone out, and so has Tyler Adams. So they're not depleted, but they've got some very key players out. We've obviously talked about Saliba. I wanted to ask you 2 questions, Premsy. How do you see this one going? And what would your team be to replace Saliba if everyone else is fit, that is?
Do you know what? I think I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, because for me, there's no easy game in the Premier League. And you could just see that straight away when you look from the bottom half of the table and 4 points separate all the relegation teams. Get me? This is why the best league in the world. But I do believe we should be beating Leeds, and I think we will beat Leeds. You know what? I know people are being on Rob Holding's back, but personally, like Dap said, players have to step up. and I would slot him in there because obviously, as we know, there's no Tomiyasu. Otherwise, we could have pushed Ben White into centre-back position and played Tomiyasu right back. I think against Leeds, Rob Holding, if you can't do it against Leeds, then you got no chance against the big boys. You get me? I think his new hairstyle, Holdini's give him a lift. You know what I mean? I think all the players around him as well. This time it's Rob Holding playing with better players. Obviously, I was there at the City game when we played in the FA Cup, and I think in that first half, he dealt with Haaland pretty well. He didn't look like he was a novice defender or somebody that made mistakes all the time. We just got to give him that belief, man. Obviously, we know that we can improve on him next season, and we should improve on him. But whilst we've got him in, we have to play him, man, and give him that lift. 110, bro.
I think it'll be harsh if we drop Holding, personally, because his performance against Palace was class. He was actually very good when he came on in the second half. I know we lost the game, but in Sporting Lisbon at home, I thought he come on and did well. So I think it would be harsh. There's obviously rumours that we could play Tierney left back or right back, and Zinchenko. We could use both those fullbacks, but I just don't see Arteta doing that. I think Rob Holding will just slot him in against Leeds and he'll be there. Sorry, Daps, go on.
No, I was just going to say, Huey said earlier about it's times like this that people step up. And we've seen it at City so many times. You know what? Zinchenko was created by doing this, right? Exactly what you're talking about right now, stepping up when he needed to step up. So many times Zinchenko stepped up, right? Even when you look at Otamendi will never go down as one of the Premier League's best defenders, yeah? Trust me, at times, watching him without someone that told him where to be and leading the line was frustrating. But 100-point season, Otamendi stepped up and was in the Premier League team of the season, right? Out of nowhere. So I just think with Holding that everything is based on the old Arsenal and what he was like with the old Arsenal. And if you're going to do that, then it's the same narrative on Xhaka, right? That he now looks like a different player because of the system. And I think people need to give Holding a chance. Look, if he plays against Leeds, has a stinker, no problem. But the same way that Arsenal fans have had to learn about Arteta and so many other players, give the guy a chance, man. Like, give him a chance.
No, I agree. I think
we had to do that with Nathan Ake, didn't we? We had to do it with Ake. The first season Ake arrived, it was kind of like, we don't really trust him. We know he's a decent centre half. We paid 40 million for him. He's probably okay, but he had to come out and earn our trust, and we had to give him a go. And now he's probably been our most consistent player this season, if not our best player for the whole season. So sometimes you have to just trust your players, trust your depth, and trust that your manager is going to get the best out of these players who you maybe don't consider starting 11 players.
Yeah, what? I agree with you, Dan, as well. I think obviously a lot of people have been saying play Kieran Tierney left back, Zinchenko right back. Obviously, I love KT. For me, he's one of my favourite players at the club.
Same.
And I'm disappointed he's not getting more game time, and I definitely don't want him to leave. But at this time now, if we move out Zinchenko over to the right, KT to the left and Ben White in the middle, I think it will just unbalance things too much into the way we play and how consistent we've been playing. Where if you just replace Holding with Saliba, let him fill that role, I think with the team being balanced and understanding what everyone's doing, obviously Zinchenko inverting as well from the left-hand side, it'll give him more protection. I also see somebody mention Kivior. Obviously, he's a left-sided centre-back. I don't think he's ready just yet. I'll definitely be playing Holding over him.
Do you know what's key as well, what you said there, Premsy, which I totally agree with? Ben White and Zinchenko have been so pivotal in their positions this season to how we play in terms of transition, the inverted role on the left that allows Xhaka and Martinelli to play well on that left hand side, and obviously Gabriel, it allows on the right hand side. The link up between Ben White and Saka has been superb this season. If we then start changing everything, then we're going to completely unbalance that, all for the sake of having no faith in Rob Holding, who, let's be fair, the last game was superb for us, one of our best players. So I think that's why he's going to start this one. Huey, let me come to you, man. Any way that Arsenal can drop points here against Leeds, in your opinion?
Listen, man. Listen, if you'd asked me this back in January, I'd say no. It should be straightforward. And listen, in theory, it should be straightforward based on your consistency this season, because you have been the best team in the Premier League and you deserve to be where you are. But like I said a few minutes ago about feeling sick going to these games, is because it's that stage of the season where everybody wants to get at you. Everybody wants to take something off you, and Leeds may bring a surprise. I mean, we've had teams over the years give us serious problems. Remember last season, that second last day of the season, West Ham away. I was going to that game thinking, it's going to be hard, but we should win. And then West Ham go 2-0 up, and I'm going, oh no, even after the last day of the season. So it should be. I'm not expecting Leeds to get anything, but what I'm saying is this stage of the season, it brings up some surprises. So you never know.
Yeah, this is where Arsenal fans, like I heard Steve on a show the other day saying, like, no Arsenal fan, enjoy this title run, but it's going to be hard to enjoy. There are going to be moments, where and if we just look at City, even last season, Wolves away, we went 1-0 up, then they got 1 goal back. The minute they got that goal back, the noise their home fans made, even in kickoff, it's like, fucking hell, this is going to go to shit. You look at QPR, first time we won the Premier League, we went 2-1 down. You look at last season, Villa, 2-0 down. And this is going to test you as fans. So it gives you a heart attack. I'm not going to lie.
You know what, though, Daps? Even though you've said that, I do think the fans have been tested this season, especially in the Bournemouth game. And I think the resolve has been there this season. I think
Villa, Bournemouth.
And that's the total difference from this season to previous seasons where we go 1-0 down, the fans' heads drop, it quiets down. Now the belief between the fan base, and credit to Arteta because he's instilled that into the club and he's made everyone believe again, where I don't think that'd be too much of an issue. I think these boys believe that we're going to go all the way to the 90-odd minute and they can get the game over the line. And I think that will help us. Obviously, Zinchenko, Jesus being from that City background where they've won, Arteta being in and around that winning mentality, Jorginho now coming into the team. I think we've got the right attributes to help the rest of the squad get through this period. I understand it's going to be totally hard.
I actually wasn't questioning your team, I was just saying, be ready for a roller coaster, because anyone that thinks
that's football, bro, isn't it? If there wasn't a roller coaster in football, we won't be enjoying it. I'm telling you now.
This is what we wanted as well, man. This is what
makes the moments better. If we talk about the moments that we've enjoyed as City fans the most, the one that, of course, we'll always talk about the 100-point season, but we won that league on a Sunday night, because Man United lost to West Brom, right? Take that, being at the ground where we're 2-0 down against Villa or Queen's Park Rangers and we're 2-1 down. Like, that is what makes football beautiful. But I'm just saying, be ready, because this is going to be a roller coaster. Slip-ups are going to happen when neither of us think they're going to happen.
No, definitely. I think the one thing that gives me confidence is that we've lost 3 times all season so far. Within the last 10 games, I can't see us losing the same amount throughout what we've lost already in the last 10.
City, Newcastle, Liverpool.
Yeah, but we've already beat Liverpool this season, haven't we? I think Newcastle, we're going to be playing them at home. They're going to have to play a different tactic where they're going to have to come out and play. They can't just sit back. They're not playing at the Emirates, which will come into our hands. It's going to be difficult, but I think it gives us a better chance of winning that game. And also against Man City, right now, you don't know what's going to happen in it. Even though he's at home, he's a favourites at home. If we got our full team together on the day, Arsenal could beat anyone this season. So,
listen, I'm going to throw this up because this big up Arsenal forever, by the way. But this is what I don't want to be going into with an attitude of. This is a dangerous game to play, in my opinion. If we avoid defeat to Liverpool and Man City, we will win the Premier League. Everybody is fixated on these 2 games, absolutely fixated on the Etihad and Anfield. I understand why. They're 2 huge teams. We've not gone there and won for a long, long time. But if we go and win, let's just say we beat both of these teams, we could still lose the league. 100%. It doesn't mean we've won the league, in my opinion, because there's still banana skin at Brighton. When was the last time we beat Brighton at home, Premsy? 2017, when they first come up?
2017.
St James's Park is a fortress. That's a tough game. Chelsea at home, they need to pick up points somehow. They're not going to want to go there and roll over at the Emirates. Southampton, Forest are fighting for their lives. West Ham away, fighting for their lives. I don't think we can look at these 2 games and think, right, we've done it. We've not lost to either of them. The title's ours. I think that would be foolish, in my opinion, Premsy. What are you saying about that?
No, I agree. Like I said earlier on, there's no easy game in the Premier League. And it obviously, because of how big these games are against Man City and Liverpool, of how many people are going to be watching it, we're drawn to it. But like you said, Southampton, all these other teams, especially that have been in the relegation scrap, they're going to have an input as well. They're going to be fighting for their lives. It's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
But I can only just go off of what I've seen this season from Arsenal, because obviously I'm not a fortune teller. I can't say what's going to happen. And so far this season, we have been pretty strong and not just winning and getting over the line, but we've been putting dominant performances in. So I think if we carry on with that same kind of mentality, we should be okay. But definitely we can't take nobody lightly. We got to take every game as it's our last, and 10 finals to go, and that's how we got to treat them if we want to win this league.
Yeah, 100%, man. Let's swing it back to you boys then, because you're both, Daps and Huey, believe that Man City are going to win the league, which means that we've got to drop some points. So I wanted to ask you, Daps, I'll start with you and I'll come to Huey. where are we going to slip up, in your opinion?
Look, it's got to a point now where, like I said before, when people look at the Palace game going, oh, no, Leeds, no. I'm sorry. The fact you went to Leeds and one of your worst performances this season was Leeds away, but you got the job done, right?
Yeah.
So Leeds at home, I can't see that being an issue. Arsenal are not the team now where, and I think most of your fans are getting to realise now they are the type of games that I think you're going to win those, no problem. Look, this is why I look at Anfield next week. That is a massive game because not only the fact that, look, if you drop points, it gets us back within reach of you, but also what it could do if you do beat Liverpool. If you do beat Liverpool, what that does for your mentality. I said this when you came and played us in the FA Cup. If you could beat sitting at the Etihad before you play us in either league game, what that does for your mentality going into when we come back to the Emirates now, and we've already beat you at your place, so here's not going to be a problem. I'm a great believer in mentality and all of that, and I think if you get a result against Liverpool, I'm not even saying a win, a result against Liverpool, I think what that does for your mentality going to St James's Park, I think that's massive. So with Arsenal, you've earned the right for me to only look at the best teams and think they are going to be where you're going to slip up. I'm not going to look at the teams that I think you should be and you will be anymore. It has to be those.
No, listen, that's fair. Same question to yourself, Hugh. I mean, you're confident that you'll win the league, and you've been there and done it. So why wouldn't you be? But that means that we've got to drop some points, and we have got some tough games. So where do you think the banana skins are for Arsenal, or is it the obvious choices, the Etihad, Anfield, St James's Park for you?
Yeah, the obvious choices are the ones you can highlight the most. Anfield, I'm looking at short term, saying yeah, potentially because you've got a bad record there. But for me, I'm mainly looking at after the Etihad game, right? As long as we win every game up to the Etihad, if we win all of our own games up to the Etihad and beat you in the Etihad, I'm saying any of your games after that, I don't care who you're playing, any of them could be a banana skin. Because at that point, you're saying, right, City are properly on our arses here. We can't afford to slip up at all. And that's real pressure. Like, that's sickening pressure. So, yeah, the obvious ones, I can highlight them and say they're ones that, and say on a one-off occasion, Arsenal could lose. But the ones after the Etihad, as long as we win all our games up to that, including that, any of them after that, any of them, take your pick. Who actually, out of curiosity, who have you got after?
We're going to have to wait and see, though, win it, because, like I said, it's all if buts and maybes. We'd expect Brentford going to the Etihad and winning there as well that day. So it is one of them, and anything can happen in football.
This season is mad as well.
And the one thing about us, this season as well, the one thing about us this season as well, though, we've actually gone to grounds that we haven't won at before for a very long time and actually overtaken that record. So I'm just hoping for more of the same. Obviously, see, Daps is very confident that he's going to be beating us at Etihad, just like he said a moment ago. That's why I just had to drop that little Brentford one in there, innit, fam? Because you don't know. You don't know. We'll see.
There's twists and turns to come for sure, man. I actually don't think Anfield and the Etihad decides. Liverpool and Arsenal and Liverpool and City playing. I don't think that decides it. I really don't.
I look at
Brighton away. Brighton away. That's tough. Brentford away.
Everton away. You got to remember last season.
We lost there.
Last season, Everton away was the hand of Rod. Yeah, right. It was a game where it was looking like we're not gonna score here. And this is the thing. They are the games, right, that make champions. They are the games that are difficult because it's teams that are fighting relegation. Teams that are going to make it so difficult for you. Not just the team, but the fans as well in them old school grounds. And that is where champions are made, where it's you get it done. I always talk about you lot against Leeds away. That was a champion's performance. You weren't good, but you got it done. And that's what we have to do in our 5 away games. We've got 5 big away games against teams that at home are backers, but away from home, end of the season, even last game of the season, you've got Wolves at home. We've got Brentford away. That could be the decider that day. Like, it's all beauty of the title race.
It is a beauty of the title race. Yeah, you said who have Arsenal got? Who have Arsenal got left after yourselves? We've got Chelsea, Newcastle. We've got Brighton, Forest, and Wolves.
Wolves at home, you've got, haven't you?
Yeah,
got Forest away.
Forest away. But they could be fighting for their lives down there.
Forest away is a tricky one, you know.
I think we'll hammer them. We've done them 5
this season already. Their home record's mad.
Yeah, away they're terrible, but at home they're much better.
Yeah.
But listen, I'm not going to go into any game going brush this one aside. I'm not even doing that for Leeds. You can't do that. It's just foolish to do that. I did that with Everton. I was like, we got Everton and Brentford. Wow, this is amazing. Tottenham are just beaten Man City somehow. Everton and Brentford win. We're miles ahead. We lost to
be
Everton.
fair, I didn't think like that for Everton, knowing that they could have a new manager bounce with Sean Dyche coming in. I didn't think that it was going to be an easy game at all, because you know what happens in it when when a team gets a manager.
Turned out not to be.
Everybody wants to pull the socks up in it and play well. But I think the thing that's giving me some confidence in this running as well, I think City, they haven't gone on more than a 4-game winning streak in the Premier League this season.
Yeah.
So
5 clean sheets though on the bounce now.
Yeah, but obviously we're used to seeing City going on 10, 15 games or whatnot, just straight up winning, you know what I mean? And I think this season, they haven't really found a consistent winning streak, and it may be fall and a draw or a loss or whatnot. So
But
that's
we've
got to take some confidence out of
that we do that.
It's usually now when they do it, isn't it?
Yeah.
No,
That's
normally I hear that every season, but normally it's more or less from like the first few games out the way. Then they start going on the runs, and in the middle part of the season, we was hearing loads of people, even Hugh on the Big Six, Daps himself, saying normally we don't really do too great in the first couple of games, and then we go on a long run. Now I'm hearing it's the last 10 games. You know what I'm saying? So you need to make your mind up.
Lads, no, it was last season, bro. When we dropped points against Crystal Palace away, it was from there.
No, I'm not even trying to take the piss. I'm just trying to take out some confidence for the Arsenal fans of how we can get over the line. And look, I'm just stating facts in it. Realistically, we're used to seeing City going on, winning. And this season, it's surprising that you can't say City have won 5 games in the Premier League on the bounce. It's surprising for me anyway. I don't know about you guys.
No, it is. You're right. So, the 5 is mad. There's a difference between what you said there. Us not winning more than like 3 or 4 games on a bounce, that's mad. But our big runs come now. We've just started the run. This is the thing. The Liverpool thing could just rocket us on. Or we could drop points against Liverpool.
I'd be honest, I think both teams are still going to drop points in it. That's just my honest opinion. I don't think both teams are going to go on now and winning every game. Like I said, and you have said, the relegation teams, they're going to have a big say in this as well. Personally, the reason I'm confident against Nottingham Forest, because we pumped them 5, you get me? So I think we kind of got their number, but obviously, what do I know? What do I know, eh?
We hit them 6 and went there and drew.
Yeah, it's mad. It is mad how that can happen. Listen, as we come to a close here, guys, I want to get some predictions for this weekend's football. Hugh, let's start with you. Man City, Liverpool, what are you going for, bro?
I think it's going to be tight. I think Liverpool will come for it as well, because they're fighting for something as well. The same way we speak about the relegation teams fighting for their lives, trying to get something off us week in, week out. The Liverpools and Chelsea's are also doing the same thing as well. So I think we'll nick it. With or without Erling Haaland. I still think we will. I'm going to go with a 2-1 Manchester City.
Daps.
So I'm not doing predictions now because it's too serious. But my boy Pancakes at when we played Newcastle and beat him 2-0, Pancakes said, and I've said this on every show, he said we're going to beat Liverpool 4-1. So I'm going with his prediction. That's his prediction, not mine. But
your Pancakes,
fair play, man. Fair play.
Spirit of Pancakes.
Premsy, what are you going for?
Do you know what? I think it's going to be a 1-1 or a 2-2 me. And I'm not just saying that because I need City to drop points. I just generally, there's something about this game, man. I think Liverpool having that fight, winning 7-0 at United, is going to give them confidence going into this game. I think the big games are a little bit different to the lower team games. They go in there thinking they're going to win straight away, where they're going to have to be really prepared for this. So I can see a draw.
Fair play, man. Fair play. I'm going to go 2-0 Man City. I think it'll be a comfortable victory for them. I just don't think Liverpool's defence is good enough, and I think they're going to get dominated in midfield as they have done for a large part of this season. So I can see that. Premsy, stick with you for Arsenal Leeds. What are you saying?
Don't know. Just seeing that comment now, I'm hearing Salary's hungry. You know what I mean, people? It's a mad thing. Arsenal Leeds. I don't think it's going to be a plain sailing. I think if we do get an early goal, then we'll go on to win the game 3-1, 3-0. But for now, I'm going to go with a 2-0 to the Arsenal.
Mate, clean sheet at home. I'm going 3-1 Arsenal. We never keep a clean sheet at home, man. I'm going 3-1 Arsenal. Hugh, what do you reckon? Arsenal Leeds, man.
Should be straightforward enough, like I said. So I'm going to go 3-1 as well. 3-1 Arsenal.
Daps, are you doing Arsenal predictions? Or
yeah, 2-0. 2-0 2-0 Arsenal.
But he was in his mouth a minute ago.
I don't do predictions on Man City.
I'll put it on yours.
Yeah, listen, I never do bets on Arsenal, but I do predictions on them. Like, I never put money on Arsenal, man, ever. I cannot do
Same
that.
here. I'm like that as well.
Absolutely,
But and
mate,
everyone else, not Arsenal.
cannot be done, man. Listen, boys, absolute pleasure. I'm sorry we can't be here longer today. I've got
Nah,
other
love
commitments.
having
I'm
us
going
on.
on to another show, but we'll be back next time. Premsy, plug your channel, man.
Premsy TV on YouTube, people. Obviously, international break's been on, so I haven't put out too much content, but there's plenty of content on there with some of the biggest guys on YouTube. Make sure you go and check it out, subscribe, and hopefully regular Arsenal content is going to be flowing soon, people. It'd be appreciated if you could give us a subscribe. Can't do it without you. Lot. Big up to the panel as well. Great guest. It's good to be on as well with you again, Dan.
Yeah, always a pleasure, man. Make sure you head over to Premsy TV. Make sure you go and hit and subscribe. Absolute legend of YouTube. Hugh, likewise, man. How can people follow you, bruv?
Yeah, you can find me every single day over on City Extra. The next big milestone, I think it's 75,000. So any support on that journey, we massively appreciate it. Streams all day, every day, videos, watch-alongs. Big watch-along Saturday morning. Myself and Lewis will be live from, I think, an hour before kickoff. So plenty of build up to the City Liverpool game if you want to catch us over there. And cheers for having me on, Dan. And good to see the lads too.
Absolutely. Anytime you're welcome, Hugh. Daps, God, son, never a foul. What's happening?
We've just done a preview, me, Lewis from City Extra, Coppish and Monts, so go and check that out. I'm happy that we're not having to do no more concept shows for the rest of the season because I'm bored to death of comparing players that I don't want to compare. But yeah, daily content, same thing. Most importantly though, smash a like on this video and drop a comment, not in the live chat. When the show ends, jump on the video and drop a comment in the actual video as well for this video. Love coming on it. I've spoke about it. I like the channels I can go on and actually not have to be shameless and just be honest about things. So this is one of them. So helps to get me a bit more like in the Arsenal fan base because they hate me. They fucking hate me.
Oh, man, we all love you, really, Daps.
It's Robbie.
No, I
It's Robbie
appreciate that,
doing it
brother.
to me.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. Blame Robbie, don't blame me. No, listen, legends, make sure you go and follow all these guys' content. I'm gonna put in the chat where I'm heading over to now. I'm gonna go over to Joe's show, so make sure you come over with me now. It's gonna be the Arsenal Leeds preview, so I'm gonna go on his channel and do some chatting about what I think the game's gonna be. So make sure that you smash a like on your way out, people. Go follow Prems, go follow Hugh, go follow Daps over and never a foul. Until then, we'll see you next time. And as always, up the Arsenal. Take care, people.